Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, we try to find our way onto the bridge, and then from there, try to find our way onto the bridge. Its bridge is all the way down. That said, in revisiting this area here, I am a bit torn. Like, my initial impression was boss fight. You know, boss comes out through that door, turrets activate, reinforcements maybe come from behind, but in retrospect, looking at it now, we're not seeing all of the battlefield clutter we'd normally see from an actual fight arena. But I guess there's not much point in speculation. We'll just we'll hit the console and see what happens. The command runes flash, indicating an error. The box transmits the sounds of gunfire and death screams. Then you hear Solomorn's calm voice. This is DX1, receiving. Oh, okay, yeah, that's why it's enforced peril, so Solomorn can prove himself, gotcha. Solomorn, through no fault of my own, I have found myself pinned down by turret fire, and am at a loss as to what to do. It's not like I travel around with a tech priest who can remotely destroy things with his mind, or a demolitions expert space marine or anything, but man, I sure wish I did. I don't suppose you could provide an assist? A dry, dispassionate voice replies over the box. Copy that. I'm on my way. Over and out. And there they be. Oh, you know what? Now the ladders and doors and such below the turrets make sense now. Gotcha. Oh, wow. Though I was not expecting to astrally project into his squad, huh? Okay. I mean, I guess it's not unprecedented. They did it with Kibbles too, but at least in that case, they had the excuse that she was a psychic. This is kind of weird. Maybe they'll frame this all as an after-action report or something. We'll just play along with it for now, see where it takes us. I will note, I cannot open character screens. That was like my first...
I'm on lookout.
My first reflexive instinct. Secure the approach to the bridge! All hands to the upper deck! Hold it. The target is in the other direction. Is it? Oh! I see. I did not even register that ladder there, but to be fair, there is an arrow. Glado is just sitting right on top of it. Come on, buddy. Proctor, the pressure in the fuel pipe is at its limit. We could use the valve to create a diversion. For who? I mean, yeah, okay, sure, why not? Roxas, Hawks! Close the valve or we're all gonna burn! Oh, wait, are they walking us into a fight with an unfamiliar squad? I am seeing a cover object up there. And they do seem to be steering us around towards it. Okay, well, hold on. Can I... Oh, okay, I see. They won't let me open the character sheets, but they will let me at least look at our tactical hotbars. Okay, yeah, they're definitely walking us into a fight. whilst controlling a squad of unfamiliar characters, so give me a second to figure out what's going on here. At the very least, I should familiarize myself with the general tactical loadouts. And we're back. Okay, thankfully, it turns out Solomorn and his buddies are probably like level 20-something-ish. Just high enough for Solomorn to hit Overseer. And most of his support crew, aside from, I think, Clayton, are single archetype. I will say, though, it would have been easier to figure out if I could have just opened their character sheets. But, that said, Solomorn, pretty straightforward soldier, seems to be shoddy-based, run and gun, concentrated fire. The only real wild card there seems to be his Overseer stuff, which I have looked over and has thoroughly reminded me you do not directly control your familiar. Rather, you spend AP to give it general orders, and then it does its best to kind of follow those commands. For loadout, I assume he must be shotgun spec'd because he's doubled up on them. He's rocking a faux hammer in one and a full-on shotgun in the other, which is some pretty heavy overlap, and also brings up the question of why they would do that if you can also wield a shield while holding a full shotgun. Maybe there's a talent or something you have to unlock for it. Then, as for the rest of these guys, all pretty straightforward. First up, we've got Stein. He is a very straightforward warrior, sword and board, maul and shield in one set, and then pistol and shield in the other.
I am an instrument of the...
Then we have Clayton, clearly the squad's heavy, rocking a heavy stubber and full shoddy, no shield. And he's interesting because aside from just being a soldier like Solomorn, he's also stacked bounty hunter on top of that. Not too far though, just enough to pull the basics. And then we've got the squad tank, Bryce. The taunting tank build that we are oh so familiar with. He's essentially Abelard Light, albeit significantly lower level, of course. We'll have to hope he's even half as durable. And then same weapon loadout as Stein. So yeah, lots of familiar concepts here, familiar roles, but the big wild card is just the stats backing them up. Methinks we'll be lucky if we get through this with everyone still alive, but we'll give it our best shot. Oh, not gonna lie, I really thought that would trigger something. The pressure! How's the pressure? I just hope it doesn't blow. We'll have to redistribute the power if the life support systems fail. You know what? Fair enough. You guys are clearly preoccupied. I suppose you wouldn't really pay much mind to 4 randos walking in. We're seeing 2 notables, shock trooper with a heavy gun and combat servitor. Otherwise, lots of mooks, hopefully on the weaker end. Let's open up with our heavy. Clayton?
Order must provide.
We'll go full burst into their... Actually, are we close enough for a grenade? Mostly no, but we can tag the heavy. Oh. Okay. Okay, it's on. Yes, sadly these guys are a bit more durable than I was really hoping they would be. Which I guess does make sense. We're running on max difficulty, so these guys are all running at like 200, 300% health, something like that. I mean, we got them on initiative. Everyone but Solomorn, at least. So let's plan accordingly. Bryce is our tank. So we want him up front. He's untested, but hopefully durable. He'll grab as many as possible, keep them locked down. But we do also need to leave a clear column of fire for Clayton, so... So Bryce will immediately push right and lock people on that side while Clayton will focus left. Yeah, Clayton goes second, so he can immediately start providing fire support. Stein third. Stereotypical warrior. He'll back up Bryce. And then Solo's kind of an unknown. We don't really know what the battlefield will look like by the time he goes. We'll just have him hang tight. Tuck into cover. Play it by ear. We do, however, know that he's very AoE forward. Shotgun, foe hammer, grenades. We'll have to be very careful with friendly fire. And here we go. All right, Bryce, let's get you in there, bud. Actually, can we get you all the way up to this? Oh, shoot, no. I should have just gone straight in. All right, fair enough. But can I... Oh, okay. Well, yes, sort of, but also wrong space. I was hoping to lock down the heavy, but that's fine. That's fine. We can work with this. This will at least pull his fire into the enemy grouping. Main concern here is really just that we have no idea how durable Bryce actually is. Poor dude might end up getting hamburgered here. Clayton, let's lay down some fire. Perhaps buy Bryce some breathing room. Yeah, see, that's the other reason I wanted to tuck him all the way in the corner. If we could have gotten him one space southeast, right adjacent to the shock trooper. Oh, shoot. Got another shock trooper in back.
Understood. Executing order.
Though again, that might actually work in our favor. These poor guys are going to get hosed down from like 3 different sides. Okay, not terrible. Took one out. Almost got the cutter. Barely a scratch on the servitor. But we did debuff. Let's get Stein in there. Again, we do not want to block off Clayton's line of fire. Which I guess technically would also be... Well, they're all going to come right anyway. Alright, well, we'll just park him right on top of that shotgunner. The one Bryce couldn't quite get to. Save ourselves the point-blank burst. Yeah, these guys aren't great. Let's go ahead and bust out the shield. That's kind of like a poor man's taunting tank, I think. Second gunner on the move.
Out of my way.
Wow. Sucks to be that guy. I can only assume that guy, like, owed him money or something. My goodness. Oof. Okay, tanked it well enough.
Here we go.
And Solo. All right, bud. Let's get you in there. And keep in mind that all of your attacks are AoEs, so we need to be mindful of positioning. Foe hammer can fire point blank. Shoddy cannot. We'll go full shoddy, straight forward, try to skirt the line on our guys. Let me just Lay some test cones here. Could go straight into the wall. Ah. Well, scratch that. We're base to base, so CQC. Just need to make sure Glado stays out of the way. That works. Now the foe hammer.
The order is clear.
You know what? We'll take it. Damage was definitely on the modest side, but at least it did something.
All done.
Glado.
Show me what you've got.
Gosh. Solo, buddy. Whoa! Okay, you know what? That actually worked out 100% in our favor. All right, Bryce, keep him locked down. You are actually doing a pretty decent job out there. And to be like 1,000,000% fair to Solomorn,
Directive accepted.
aside from running on max difficulty, this is also, again, an encounter that was supposed to fire in Act 2. The threats have been scaled up, both based on the difficulty and the later act of the game we're in. But I have to imagine Solo and his squad are still running on Act 2 gear. So that would definitely make this a mite bit trickier for them. But, you know, it's working out for us. I think we're going to get this. Honestly, Solo and Glado are the main ones I'm concerned about at this point, since I do think the rest of his squad scaled up, just like the enemies did. But, you know, Solomorn himself is a full-on recruitable companion, so he kind of follows his own rules, as opposed to your average NPC, even temporarily controllable ones like the rest of his guys here. Bryce, Clayton, and Stein.
Understood. Executing order. Directive accepted. Understood. Executing order.
Ooh. For a sec there, I thought that was going to be another purely beneficial burst. But he just had to slip in that last shot on Solo. Wow, Bryce, my man. Definite MVP. Oh! Okay, I was not expecting him to take an attack of opportunity with the shotgun. That is both incredible, but also terrifying. We need to get Solomorn away from the rest of our party. Let's buy ourselves some breathing room here. Oh, interesting. Wait, we can... We can still order Blado to attack. Interesting. One sec, let me go ahead and punch a hole here. Nice. Servitor out. Yeah, I do love those shotguns. I mean, that alone is almost enough to get me to seriously consider giving Solo a more regular slot in our party. Glado is interesting. I did not realize he'd be able to attack more than once per round. I was really thinking it was more of a conventional combat tag-along, but actually getting it into the field like this... Bryce, my man. He just tanked that whole burst.
Let's get to it.
Oh, gosh. Okay, you know what? That's actually pretty awesome. And still incredibly scary. Give me a sec to reevaluate here. Most mooks cleared, which means the gunner in back is now much more dangerous.
Directive accepted.
Let's keep him focused on Bryce. Nice. We'll push. Hit that gunner. Nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was way more effective than I thought it would be. Duck and cover. Lay down fire, I guess.
There will be no pardons for the guilty.
Focus down Shock Troop 1.
That goes outside the mission parameters.
Oop, okay, well, don't do that.
Won't escape the Emperor's justice, scum!
I guess that Shock Trooper's not as much of a threat as I thought. Though, yeah, again, this is a pretty good sign that Solomorn's squad scaled up for Act 4. But he himself definitely did not, because he got grazed by like one burst, and it took off half his health.
Understood.
Oh, you can't attack again this time. Keep these guys locked. Stein should be able to finish Shock Troop 1 with no problem. Let's go ahead and clear this guy. Nice. Oh, that's so satisfying. I just love the visceral impact of the shotgun weapons. And this guy? Yeah, that works. Alt on tap. Unexpected. Alright, Stein. Time to go ham. Lovely. And let's keep it going. We'll shut down Shock Troop 2.
Eyes on the objective. Understood. Executing order.
Lovely. And lock down the last. Okay. Interesting strategy. I mean, at the very least, tucking yourself in like that means I can't shotgun you. Oh, but this time we do have another attack from Glado. I wonder why it... Oh, okay, I see. We're working off, like, the dual-wielding principle. Glado can attack multiple times, but each subsequent attack costs 1 extra action point. Gotcha. Honestly, I'm coming around pretty quick on solo. You know, much like... There's actually some interesting overlap there between him and, like, Ulfar. They're both designed to be very mobile multi-attackers. Though I dare say Solo's more focused on laying down multiple AoEs. Though he can go single target. He's got the shield bash. He's got Glado. Definitely squishier, but that could just be his gear.
Stitching me up. Thanks.
I mean, I imagine he'll perform much better once we've got him fully leveled and properly kitted out.
Understood. Execute.
And we're done. Nice work, guys. I've got to say, I had some doubts, but you definitely proved me wrong. All in all, I think I'd say Bryce was probably our MVP, with Clayton... Then a toss-up between Clayton and Stein. Clayton early on, Stein towards the end. Solo probably struggled the most, but man, those reflex shotgun blasts. Honestly, just the shotgun in general really makes me wish I had more excuses to use it with Val. Anyway. Promethium tubes are connected to the fuel tank. Neat. Why did you feel the need to point that out? Oh. Yeah, okay. I see why now. Oh man, I like those guys. Throne's blood. Bryce, Stein, Clayton. I am witness to your final judgment. Sargona will not escape me. I swear it. You must be very proud of yourselves, lawmen. Come at me, then. Come and get me. If you can.
Moving out.
You know what? I've got to say, I do think it was jarring to have the sudden narrative shift off of our main character, but I actually really enjoyed that. Despite multiple wounds, Solomorn stands firm. The Proctor's eyes are burning bright, like he's gotten a second wind. My squad is down. We need to regroup. Here's what we do. I go with you, and one of your retinue stays behind to take charge of the defense, along with the surviving arbitrators. With your permission, Lord Captain, I would prefer to remain at your side. The Proctor's expertise is indisputable, but he is not your seneschal. I am your shadow, Daman. I am your blade and shield. Do not cast me from your side. Not when you are but a step away from the abyss. The Lawkeeper's advice is sound, Edvetter. Whichever of your servants are sapped of strength, leave them here. If there is need, I can pull the weight of 2 fighters. Or 5. Okay, so they're definitely setting up for us to have to take solo, which is slightly awkward because we have not yet seen his character sheet. Though demo seems like a safe bet. Solo, I admire your dedication to duty, but you're in pretty rough shape. Maybe it's best if you let us take it from here. Only one of your escort needs to be replaced. It is a minor permutation. Furthermore, I'm responsible not only for Sargona's capture, but also for your survival. Well, in that case, why don't we all just go together? I'm sure an extra gun wouldn't hurt. No, this'll put us at a tactical disadvantage. The Heartless is still full of hostiles who will try to storm the bridge. We have to set up a defense at the elevator to avoid being shot in the back. Alright, Solomorn, if you say so. And we do want to see you in action, so... Very well, I guess we'll do things your way. Hope you can actually handle this. Let's not keep the bastard waiting. Well, he's gonna have to wait at least a little because I'm assuming you are... Oh gosh, yeah, you're 24 levels under us. You are literally half our current level. And I'm gonna guess completely unequipped. Minus some basic starter gear. Oh boy, so who do we... I mean, Ulfar's immediately volunteering to step out. which, if solo is a demo main, would make sense. They do have some overlap, both in demolitions and on their focus on AoEs. The problem being that Ulfar is also our primary in awareness. We only have 3 awareness-focused characters, and the other 2 aren't with us right now. Unfortunately, awareness is one of those skills we just really can't live without, so I think it's gotta be... Kibbles. Which I suppose thematically makes sense. I feel bad for her since she literally asked us not to leave her behind, but... But, you know, if someone's gotta be behind us, it might as well be my shadow. Though, you know, fingers crossed we don't run into any Medicaid checks, because then I'm gonna feel extra silly. Though, to be fair, I don't think Val's actually that much of a slouch at Medicaid, since we just started cranking it as his tertiary. Alright, let's get a gander here. Get that leg patched. See if we are, in fact, a solo morning person.
Let's not waste time with pleasantries.
Leg's an easy fix. That's a single trauma pack. Alright, let's hit the pause button. I'm gonna have to spend a couple of hours figuring out what's going on with this guy and do my best to get him up to snuff. Be back in a bit. And we're back. Took about 6 hours. 6 hours to read through all the new mechanics, parse out all the bits and bobs, and get them properly recombits and bobulated. A fair chunk of which was actually spent just trying to figure out exactly what was going on with Solomorn's build, since, for better or worse, he comes in with 24 levels already under his belt. Not ideal, but, you know, I get it. That's just Owlcat style. They like to tell a story with exactly how a character is set up. But that said, now that I've actually had a chance to familiarize myself, he's not terrible. Definite focus on AoE attacks, especially the shoddy, which it turns out there was a talent for to specifically make it a one-handed weapon. Having both was a bit redundant, so I figured we'd give one of those new Webbers a shot, since he is ultimately very AoE focused, like 3 to 4 AoE attacks around focused. But then also with the added benefit of Glado, who provides some much-needed versatility with direct attacks and various buffing and defensive maneuvers. As far as skills go, Solomorn comes in with a primary in Coercion, secondary in Demo. Coercion makes sense for him, but it is completely useless to us. So I refocused on Demo and Awareness, essentially turning him into a character we can swap in and out for Ulfar as need be. He's not quite at Ulfar's level on those skills, especially Demo. He's like 40 points shy. However, that does get a fair bit evened out if we keep in mind that I can just swap these over. The demolition instructions and the secrets of the Forerunner, that right there would push him right up to 180 in Demo. So yeah, that's a quick and easy swap for future quests that require it. That said, now that we've got him properly kitted out, let's go try all this stuff out. Hopefully I didn't miss anything too obvious when I was slotting it all together, but, you know, I guess we'll find out. Practical experimentation will certainly help iron out the kinks. Huh. And apparently I actually missed someone. Oh, you know what? I'll bet that was Cutscene Guy, the one who killed his squad. Yeah, we couldn't go back down there. That whole area was blocked off. Otherwise, I would have gone down there just to loot the various corpses. But we'll take what we can get. Oh, okay. Well, immediately not liking the look of this. Looks like we're coming up in some sort of penned-off power cage. Also, wow, look at that. I guess Argona really is a pyro. Yeah, not ideal. Oh, but immediate hint as to how to shut it down. Sargona's forehead is covered in sweat, and his expensive jacket is mottled with burn marks. His hands are in constant movement as he works the controls for the warp engine. So, von Valancius, you think you've won? Think again. I still have one last card to play. The Heartless has lost its Geller field, Sargona. A warp jump without it would be worse than death. Even you're not crazy enough to... Want to find out? Sargona's tongue darts out to wet his lips, and his voice drops from a shout to a whisper. What's that thing you lawmen always say? Any last words? Oh, and look at that. We do still have auto successes on tap. I guess it was just sheer coincidence the other check had 2 95s on it. The moment you glance at the sacred machines installed around the bridge, several of the pirates grow visibly nervous, exchanging looks and shifting from one foot to another. Whatever these devices are, they carry some special importance. Pascal's visor clicks anxiously as it switches repeatedly between different optical lenses and focal points.
Sacrilegious data mixing. Heresy. Tech atrocity.
Solomorn catches your eye, then nods subtly toward the most frightened-looking of Sargona's guards, and drags a finger across his palm, signaling. That one dies first. Well, since it sounds like we're all about to die, I don't suppose you'd be willing to answer a few questions? I mean, what's the harm? What? Questions? What in the void are you talking about? Palpable hysteria breaks through Sargona's voice, but he does not pull the lever just yet. Well, it's just really been bugging me, you know, trying to figure out how someone like you made off with the planet's tithe. You must have had someone on the inside, but I know it wasn't Governor Medina. I was with him right there up till the end. I know he was otherwise occupied. Sargona flinches as if from a blow. His soft whisper takes on a sinister note. Both of us are going to die here, von Valancius. But even so, I would rather not say. You have no idea who you're up against. I mean, I don't know about that. Looking around your bridge here, I can't help but note some rather distinctive decor. Kind of reminds me of some scenery I saw back on Rykadphilia, perhaps? Sargona bares his teeth. The machine spirits of these decorations will accelerate the start of my warp engine and our deaths, von Valancius. Take a good look at the last thing you'll ever see.
I am registering a Category 2 blasphemy. Defilement of a sacred creation of the Omnissiah via impure code. The sentence is torturous disposal.
Pascal's drilling mechadendrite shrieks with a spray of still fresh blood. I've got to say, Sargona, you were a lot more fun before we ended up face to face. In fact, I'd say you were downright chatty when it was through that servitor. So what's changed? Why the sudden rush? Are you really so eager to die? If there is even the slightest chance that I might live, I would rather keep my mouth shut. Well, in that case, I suppose it means you have well and truly outlived your usefulness. In which case... Alright, folks, you heard your captain. Sounds like his new plan is to get us all killed. But what if I told you you didn't have to die? I do plan on adding this ship to my fleet, and it would be nice if it came partially crewed. You can stick with Sargona, go out in a blaze of glory, Or you could throw your lot in with me. Earn yourself a pardon and a second chance. What's it gonna be? Your voice echoes across the bridge. A few of the pirates nod at each other and point their weapons at their captain. The captain of the Heartless meets your gaze, and you see in his eyes the desperate courage of one who knows he is doomed. He sneers, then pulls the warp engine lever. Let the gates open! We are headed for the abyss, Von Valancius! And you and I have front row seats!
I'll make an example out of you.
Okay. Concentrate on disabling the backup engines. Find a way to knock them out before the warp opens up. Which, again, they did pretty clearly choreograph. We have 4 rounds to either get to the captain's wheel, past Sargona here, who does indeed appear to be a pyromaniac, or a pyrokinetic, rather. So, probably not a Drukhari. Or to the back, where we just saw them pull a separate lever. Though it is also possible we have to get to both. And either way, we have to shut down these power shield generators, which are powering the field, currently keeping us closed up in center. Rear switch is probably our best bet. Punch past that servitor. Shut this thing down. 4 power generators, 4 shields. Feels pretty straightforward. Identical text on both switches, so I think we do just need one. And then heavy off on right. Helmsman Yorgis the Ripper. Goodness, we are in for a bit of a fight here. How'd we do on initiative? Oh, look at that. Sargona's a grand strat. That's a rarity. Though, otherwise, it looks like we did pretty well on initiative. Aside from, poor Abby. As did all of our converted cutthroats. Though, that's fine. Perhaps they'll at least draw some fire, buy our main guys some breathing room. Alright, here's the tentative plan. We're going to focus on getting to that rear switch. So, Abby up front to hold them. We'll get Solo on left. Actually, we should focus down on a single side. We'll get Solo and Ulfar on right. Take out that heavy as quickly as possible. Between Ulfar and Solo, this should be like, I don't know, 8 attacks. That should probably be sufficient. Then Pascon rear. We need him to clear the servitor. And you know what? We're out of nooks and crannies to hide in, but let's get bold here. We've got the advantage on initiative, so we'll just tuck him in right here behind Ulfar. That should give him clear shots at both of these rear power generators. Can't imagine Glado can get through those shields. We'll have him assist Abby. Okay, let's do it to it. Task up first. Let's clear a path. Yeah, might as well take out this clutter while we're at it. Seems like it's set up specifically to slow our approach. I'm hoping we can 2-tap this guy. Otherwise, Val might have to finish the job. But that was a pretty good start. And there we go. Path cleared. Minus, of course, the power shield, but, you know, that's a work in progress. Let's lay down our other 2 zones. Interesting. I didn't realize zones actually got cut if you completely bisected them with scenery. That's an interesting tidbit. You tried. Alright, Cass, you're up. Let's get these guys locked. Ah, you coward. Alright, fair enough. Could pull him onto the stairs. I just don't really see much point. Oh. Okay. Well, not quite what I was going for, but interesting. Interesting. I suppose that, at least, confirms that we cannot, in fact, walk through the force fields. Good to know. I was hoping to pull the other guy into the wall again. But that'll do. Guards locked. Focus down right. We'll focus down Jurgis, and then if we have any firepower left, we'll shift to Dark Glider. Yeah, that one looks like a sniper, I want to say. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve for that one. Alright, let's kick this thing off. Suppressive fire. Nice. Could hit Dark Glider, too. No. Stay focused. Close. Oh, if that wall weren't up, he could definitely finish it. But that's fine. Solo's got it. For he also has Grenadier. Plus another unique Arbitus talent, which also gives him a separate free toss per round. Jurgis the Ripper, R.I.P. Now let's glide on over to the other side. Oh, and get Glado into the fray. Nice. Yeah, I've also got Solo rocking gear that reduces costs for his various Glado commands. So we've got a lot more wiggle room now than we did in that first fight. Move up. Just be wary of the shield. I'm not sure exactly where it triggers. We saw some weirdness with the bodyguards. Yeah, that works. Nice. Ooh, alt on tap. Though perhaps unnecessary. Well, no, we've got, I mean, we might as well, right? We've got Val coming up next, and he's got 2 more on tap.
At prioris.
Round 2.
You are doomed.
And 3. Oh, so close. Again, if not for the power shield, Solo could definitely finish it. He could just stick Lado on him. Speaking of whom...
Let's get to it.
Oof. Goodness. Nice swing, Abby. And Val on deck. Let's knock out these shields. Val's got 3 shots in the tank. Should be more than enough for these 2 in back. Oh, so close. If that had worked, we'd have been able to clear 3. Oh, well, never mind. I guess we still get 3. What else do I feel like shooting? Oh yeah, I guess I could finish you off. Sorry, Dark Glider, you had your chance. Would have been nice to add another Xenos to my retinue. But now you're just another trophy.
Never stood a chance.
Okay, so we're down on rear, we're down on right. Let's tag Ulfar back in. We'll push him around. Knock out another generator. Then we can finish off Sargona as well. Really unfortunate place to stand, bud.
Thank Russ for my sharp senses.
Oh, hey, you died before you started falling. Good for you. Probably spared you a fair bit of pain. Right side clear. Forward shield out. Sargona now open. Let's see if we can knock out the other one. I think we can work an angle here. Push right up to the edge. I am not confident in Ulfar's long-range accuracy. Two attacks on tap. Lovely. And drop the shield.
None can do.
All clear. That was cute. You gotta respect those guys who see all this happen in like 6 seconds of absolute carnage and still feel bold enough to take a swing.
Let's get to it. Let's make it quick.
Lightning on cast, not enough to get through attempts. Let's wrap this up. Oh, snap. Okay, well that slowed me down a little. Well, congratulations. You now have my full attention.
I will do my duty. Indeed.
Wow, buddy. Color me impressed. More than I can say for Yorgis or Dark Glider.
Out of my way. Here we go. Hold on.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get to it. Let's make it quick. Die!
Alright, Bask, let's get this thing shut down. Is that close enough? Let's hedge our bets. We'll go for a blitz.
The spiritual prognosis is favorable.
Wait, why can you not? Oh, it's got a 12 space range. I did not realize that. Could have sworn it used to be unlimited, but they have changed about 1,000 things in the post-launch patches. That's fine. We'll see if we can make it work without.
Vital functions successfully terminated.
Target clear, and... hey, there we go. The rumble of the engines dies down. The ship has stopped its fall into the abyss of the Immaterium. Nicely done, Pask. Now, let's wrap this up. No, Sargona! You killed your one worthwhile crewman. Oh, such is the fate of those who work for cartoon villains.
Here we go.
Rest in peace, Bodyguard 2. You will be avenged. Val. Death by Death Whisper.
Who, if not me?
With one real shot left on tap. Ooh. You actually survived. Good for you. Really didn't think you had it in you, Sargona. Let me give you another look. Oh, well, you know what? That does track. Kinda sad we don't get any deathbed banter, but, I'll take a phase 2. Also, I think this does pretty well establish that he is not, in fact, a Drukhari. Which I suppose does also track. I mean, if anyone was going to risk using Drukhari rejuvenation tech, it would probably be someone who's on their way out anyway. Who knows, perhaps that's why he went rogue in the first place, to try to eke out a few more years.
I have become the All-Father's worthy instrument!
Faced worse than this.
Well, no, that is slightly problematic. Ulfar, could I get you back here real quick? Please and thank you. Oh, I don't think that's gonna... I was not sure if the shotgun would trigger with the AOO. But apparently it does, which is incredible. And also still terrifying. Suppressing fire.
I will carve runes out of your bones.
Ashes to ashes, Sargona. You had a good run. Let's mop up the mooks, call it a day. Solo, you got this?
Let's test our skills, Glato.
One left. Let me solo him.
Accepted.
Ooh, and double Achievo. Lovely. All targets eliminated. Perimeter clear. I suggest we return to the flagship and debrief. Seems a mite bit forward, bud, but I do have a pretty nice bath. This job ended up being a mite bit more involved than you initially suggested. I don't suppose the Adeptus Arbitus is prepared to offer additional recompense? A reasonable proposal. I think I have something you may find interesting. We can discuss the details back on your bridge. Solo, buddy, I am liking you more and more by the second. Dogmatic and pragmatic. A truly rare blend. Sounds good to me. Let me just stretch my legs a bit. I'd like to acquaint myself with my new ship. Solomore nods. Acknowledged. We will depart when you're ready. Oh, and a level up to boot. Man, this just keeps getting better.
I always have a backup plan.
Let's get a gander at our loot. Standard pyro staff. Low-end armor. No weapon drop for Dark Glider, though we did get their armor. That's a bit odd. Experimental Psi Amplifier. The wearer's first psychic power used in a round is calculated as if Psi rating were +3. Always triggers a psychic phenomena. Which is risky, but definitely has some potential benefits. Some sort of computer off-right. Stored on the Cogitator is a chronicle of various deals Sargona made with the Drukhari. The captain was actively bartering human captives for xenotech, and was not above violence when it came to acquiring what he coveted. Oh, you know what? The Drukhari stole the sun in Raikadi. That's gotta be who he was working with then. Which would also explain why he was so hesitant to give us any details, even though he was pretty sure he was about to die. Since, as we've seen, even death isn't necessarily enough to stop a vengeful Drukhari. And it does seem pretty likely we're looking at a homunculus in the mix. Possibly even Tervantius. I wouldn't rule it out. The Heartless's status report states that while the ship took a beating when attempting to enter the warp, it has passed that trial and remains fit for service. Ooh. Ah, nothing all that notable. Just +1 deflection. Alright, yeah, that's all. Trash. Into the pile it goes. But what's this? Ooh, hey, Glado beeline for that loot container. That's interesting. The Cogitator obeys and reveals Sargona's secrets, including information on a hidden cache in one of the systems of the Expanse. Wow, so I guess Glado may have like a non-combat functionality, similar to Scratch from Baldur's Gate 3. Silence of Shael. On hit, target must pass willpower resistance at +20, or suffer psychosomatic trauma. Meh. Situationally useful at best. Though I will say I think our real prize here was just getting to see Solomorn in action. Him and GLaDOS both. They're actually a lot of fun. I might have to run it by the Raiders. You know, my initial plan was just to use him for his companion stuff, but now I'll probably run a poll. I mean, as it stands, we've essentially set up our 6th slot as the rotating slot. That's the slot where we need to put our awareness and demo characters, and that, at the moment, is in fact, Ulfar, Solomorn, Yurliet, and to a lesser extent, Adira, Argenta, and Heinrichs, all of whom cover one of those two. Actually, I might have switched Argenta off to Medicae. I'd have to double check that. Yeah, you know what? We're at a good place to call it anyway. We'll hit the pause button for now. We'll figure out these level ups, take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, run a quick poll by the Raiders, and we will pick up here next time as we get debriefed and then get debriefed. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I'm on lookout.